Ever wondered why you attract toxic people? It's not the most pleasant question to ponder, is it? But it's an essential one. Understanding why we might be magnets for toxicity can be a game changer in personal development. It's like tracing the roots of a tree. Only then can we truly comprehend its growth. Today, we're going on a journey of self-discovery, delving into the human psyche and relationships. We're exploring the labyrinth of our minds and emotions, and along the way, we might find some answers that aren't always easy to swallow. But remember, knowledge is power. We all deserve relationships that benefit us, that make us grow, that make us feel good about ourselves. And to get there, we need to understand why we sometimes fall into the trap of attracting the wrong people. So buckle up, open your mind, and let's dive in. Get ready to unveil the 3 reasons why you might be attracting toxic individuals. The first reason could be low self-esteem. Now you might be thinking, what does self-esteem have to do with attracting toxic people? Allow me to explain. Self-esteem, in essence, is your overall sense of personal value or self-worth. It's how much you appreciate and like yourself. When you have low self-esteem, you might not believe you deserve respect, kindness, or love, and this can make you more susceptible to toxic individuals. Think about it like this. When you don't value yourself, you might not recognize when you're being treated poorly. You could be more likely to accept behavior that doesn't align with your own best interests. You might overlook red flags, ignore your gut feelings, or even convince yourself that you're overreacting when you're not. Moreover, people with low self-esteem often fear loneliness or rejection. This fear can make them hold on to toxic relationships rather than face the prospect of being alone. They might think, well, it's better to have someone even if they're not good for me than to have no one at all. But this is a trap. It's a harmful mindset that keeps you stuck in a cycle of toxicity. And here's another thing. Toxic individuals often have an uncanny knack for sensing people's insecurities. They can detect when someone might be easy to control or manipulate, and they're drawn to that. They prey on individuals with low self-esteem because they know these individuals are more likely to tolerate their toxic behavior. But remember, your worth is not defined by anyone else but you. You deserve respect, kindness, and love. You deserve to be treated with dignity, and you certainly deserve more than to be someone's emotional punching bag. So, if you find yourself constantly attracting toxic people, it might be time to take a close look at your self-esteem. Work on building it up. Learn to value yourself. Learn to love yourself. Because when you do, you'll be less likely to allow toxic individuals into your life. The second reason is a lack of boundaries. Boundaries, much like the lines drawn on a map, are your personal territory. They set the limits for acceptable behavior from those around you, defining what you are comfortable with and where you draw the line. In an ideal world, we all would have our boundaries respected, but unfortunately this is not always the case. When boundaries are unclear or non-existent, it can create a vacuum that toxic individuals are all too eager to fill. These individuals often have a knack for seeking out people who are willing to bend over backwards for them, to always accommodate their needs without question. This isn't a coincidence. It's a calculated move on their part. Why is this? Well, toxic people are often manipulative. They thrive on control and power. If you don't have clear boundaries in place, they see an opportunity to wield influence over you. They may push your limits, repeatedly cross the line, and take advantage of your good nature. But here's the thing. Boundaries are not just about saying no. They're about recognizing your worth and asserting your needs. They're about understanding that your feelings, your time, and your energy are valuable. So, how can you establish these boundaries? It begins with self-awareness. Understand what you are comfortable with, what you are not, and communicate it clearly. Remember, it's okay to say no. It's okay to prioritize your needs. And it's not just about setting boundaries, but also about enforcing them. If someone disregards your limits, don't hesitate to remind them. It's not about being rude or unkind. It's about protecting your well-being. So, take a moment to reflect on your boundaries. Are they clear? Are they being respected? If not, it's time to make some changes. The third reason is the savior complex. Now, what on earth is the savior complex, you might ask? Well, it's a psychological construct that suggests that some individuals are drawn, like a moth to a flame, to people who they perceive need saving. These so-called saviors often feel a compelling need to help, fix, or rescue others, even when it isn't asked for or needed. This complex, however, isn't as heroic as it might sound. In fact, it can lead to a cycle of attracting toxic people into your life. You see, those with the savior complex often find themselves drawn to individuals who appear to be in distress or in need of help. Now, there's nothing wrong with lending a hand, but the problem arises when the people they're trying to save are those who habitually create chaos or engage in self-destructive behavior. These individuals, who we'll call chaos creators, often appear to be in a constant state of crisis. They may seem helpless, pitiful, or victimized. And to those with a savior complex, these chaos creators might seem like the perfect project. After all, what's more satisfying than rescuing someone from their troubles? But here's the kicker. Many of these chaos creators may be toxic individuals who, knowingly or unknowingly, manipulate and drain the energy and resources of their supposed saviors. When you're constantly on a mission to save others, you might neglect your own needs and well-being. You might find yourself in a cycle of stress, exhaustion, and disappointment when your rescue attempts don't bring about the desired change. Moreover, you might feel trapped in a toxic relationship, unable to break free because you feel responsible for the other person's well-being. In essence, the savior complex can turn you into a magnet for toxicity. It can push you into a draining cycle of trying to fix unfixable situations and people. It can lead you to compromise your own happiness and health in the process. So remember this: it's not your job to save everyone. It's important to help others, but not at the expense of your own well-being. The savior complex can unknowingly draw you towards toxic individuals, and acknowledging this is the first step towards breaking this cycle. To recap, the 3 most common reasons why you might attract toxic people are low self-esteem, lack of boundaries, and the savior complex. Each of these elements can unknowingly pull you into a whirlpool of negativity and emotional drain. Let's revisit these reasons. First, low self-esteem. This is a silent attractor of toxic people. When you underestimate your worth, you unknowingly allow others to do the same. Remember, your worth is not negotiable, it is inherent. It is constant. So let's start recognizing and valuing our worth. Next, the lack of boundaries. This might sound a bit technical, but it's pretty straightforward. When we fail to set clear boundaries, we give an open invitation to others to walk all over us. Boundaries are not about being rigid, they're about defining our personal space. What we approve of, what we don't. They are our personal terms and conditions, if you will. So, let's be clear about our boundaries. The third reason is the savior complex. It's the idea that we can change or save someone from their misery. Now, empathy is a virtue, but when it crosses the line and becomes a burden, it's time to step back. Remember, we are not superheroes. And even if we were, everyone must fight their own battles. So, let's help where we can, but remember, it's okay to step back when it's too much. Now, understanding these reasons is crucial, but it's just the first step. The real challenge is to work on these areas and grow. It's about elevating our self-esteem, setting clear boundaries, and knowing when to help and when to step back. It's about self-awareness and personal growth. And remember, every step you take towards this journey is a step towards healthier, more fulfilling relationships.